Sorry, my bad. Take a right, go down 2 blocks. I didn't know. Hi, thank you for tuning in to That's the Setup podcast. I'm your host, Sharika Duncan, a new author of the Setup novel. Check me out on Instagram at Sharika Duncan and on Facebook as Sharika Duncan Author or my website, sharikaduncan.com.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to That's the Setup podcast. I'm your host, Sharika Duncan, and joining me is Miss Roland Mayhew. Good evening, Ro.
Good evening, Sharika. Good evening, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. I just hope you all are doing well. I want everybody to do good, Sharika. I want everybody to be happy.
Yeah, we want everyone to just spread love, and especially during this time with the latest news about the tragedy with Kobe Bryant and the other.
Oh, man, that's totally unfortunate. I never really watched basketball. I was never a basketball fan, really. Mm-hmm. But he was so much more than just a basketball player. He was writing children's books, He's a publisher. He has, of course, his academy school teaching young kids how to perform well in the game of basketball, making them understand the sportsmanship and the technical side of it. And, of course, the children that were involved, his own daughter. And then it was confirmed that another little, I believe it was another little girl, was on that plane, too, with her parents. Well, her father was a coach, and her mom was on there, too. And all three of them perished, and, of course, the other people that were on there. It was just tragic.
So tragic. Definitely tragic. Mm-hmm. And it definitely.
And, of course, unexpected, and the more I read up on it, it just seems like human error. Because we don't know for sure until they come back and let us know if it was some kind of technical problems. But supposedly the aircraft that he was on, a little helicopter, is like top notch. It was like known as the limousines of helicopters. So they believe that it wasn't a technical problem with the helicopter on itself, but they believe that morning the fog was so low there that even the police helicopters, they remained grounded, like they wouldn't give them permission to fly because the fog was so low and so thick, So it could just be an issue to where they shouldn't have flown in that kind of in that fog. They probably should have waited just a few more minutes,
Yeah,
just a few more minutes.
The outcome.
Yeah, because they slammed into a hillside, so it's not like, which makes sense because if you're in a fog and you're flying, you don't know what's really in front of you, So it kind of makes sense that it could be the fog issue. Whereas if they were to lost, engine or fuel or something, they would have nosedived down,
Right.
It's crazy, girl. I think you sent chills up my spine because what got me is that, you never know. You never know what's going to happen, and it doesn't matter the age you are, whether you're young or old. Just when someone dies tragically, as human beings, we're supposed to sympathize and feel that pain also because they're one of us. It could have been any one of us.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
The American dream.
Yeah.
Will definitely go down in history. There would never be anyone in comparison to him. And
this part
they expired his jersey number.
Yeah, they got to.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
And I know this may sound so dark and macabre and all, but after the incident yesterday, all these tributes came pouring out, and I've seen I'm talking about dozens and dozens of pics of him and his daughter. they've been by each other's side since she was a little girl. Like, they got a picture of her. She can't be no older than 3 or 4 years old. He won a game, and she's, like, in his face, kissing him and hugging him. Like, that, she was daddy's girl. So, like, the more of these pictures I was watching, the more of these videos I was watching of her, she's really talented, too. Well, she's a beast on that court, too. I was like, okay. The more I can see that her and her dad had this very special bond. So it's like, you know, if they were to perish, I guess it's going to happen with the both of them together.
Right.
Because it's just you could see something between them that nothing could separate them.
Yes.
Not even in death. I'm sure they're together somewhere in heaven. I pray for their souls and the souls of those others that were lost and their family too. You know, I don't want people to forget about them because they're not a celebrity like Kobe. They're human too, and a whole family was lost, mom, dad, and child. So it's like, wow.
Yeah, there were like 9 people.
Yeah. But I think what got me too was when I saw a mom, dad, and daughter. I thought, that's the whole family right there. If they have any other kids, they left them all behind without parents and without one sibling. Like, dang.
Right. Mm-hmm. You can't take life for granted, that's for sure. So better hold on tight to the ones we love.
Yeah, and I'm not going to let nobody just stress me out no more. I just ain't got time for it.
Nope. Life is too short. Here today, gone tomorrow.
So speaking of here, gone tomorrow, I thought this rideshare situation was just a trend and that it was going to eventually go away. But it's still here. You know, I'm talking about these Ubers and Lyft rides and all these other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It just won't go away.
Nope. It's here.
And I understand. Yeah, I understand they need to be here, but they're a little bit shaky, some of them.
I can't believe they allow anybody to work for them, actually. Like, some vehicles aren't. It doesn't look safe to get in some of those vehicles that I've seen with the sign on their car, not ones that I've actually reserved. Because, you know, they do provide a photo of the vehicle that they intend to bring for service. But just in general, just seeing people in the parking lot with the symbol, you know, in the car, it's like, really? They just let this car work for, you know, Uber, Lyft? Like, anybody doing a car inspection at all?
Yeah. I don't know about the rest of the world, but, you know, here in Atlanta, you know, Atlanta folks know how to finesse people. I know people who, when they first sign up for, like, Uber or Lyft, right, they'll have a nice, decent, they'll have their picture uploaded, and then an inspector will go out and meet them, and they'll look at the car. Matter of fact, let me make it more specific, right? So I knew an individual who, I don't know how they let this happen, but he went to a car lot, and he drove off the car lot with a used vehicle, well, fairly used, like a 2016 little Nissan something, I forgot, right? He didn't put no money down. This nigga ain't got no job. I don't even know how that happened. That's a whole nother story. So he used that vehicle to register to drive for Uber. An inspector comes out, and they look at the vehicle, make sure it is the vehicle that you say that you're going to be driving in. They check the lights, they check, you know, for cracks, they check the registration, they do all that. But, you know, after the first month, you know, after a month or two, when they realize that he's not making any car notes, and these people are looking for their vehicle to repo, it don't even matter because Ben got rid of that car. Ben got rid of that car, and he's driving his homeboy's car. So let's say you wanted an Uber ride, right?
Right.
And his picture shows up in the type of car, and you expecting to see that type of car, but then a whole nother car pull up, and the person, the driver's like, "Hey, are you Sharika?" And you're like, "I am, but who are you?" "I'm your Uber driver. I know it's not the same car. That car is in a shop, but come on."
Oh,
yes, honey, you best believe it. So they got ways to finesse the system, bruh. They got ways to finesse the system. And I blame, I don't even know who to blame. Because that one there, that was a car lot fault. Because I don't even know how you gave someone a vehicle who have no proof of income. I don't know what kind of game talk he had. I'm like, bruh, I don't even know.
That is ridiculous. And, you know, I was pumping gas the other day. You know, they have the commercial, a little monitor above the gas tank that comes on automatically when you start the pump. Well, a commercial came on regarding news relating to Uber drivers can now set their own pay rate, you know, so therefore they can set how much they want to charge you.
Mhm.
And I was shocked. I was like, okay. So now they don't have to be confined to a certain, you know, scheduled pay. They can actually set their own pay rate.
Mhm. Oh wow, I gotta look into that one. You know,
there's some people saying that they do the child lock. It's set on the on the back seat where you can't even get out the car once you get in the car. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't heard of that, but I can definitely see it happen. I know from my own personal experience, I've had someone in the car offered me, can I say that? Can offer me some drugs, girl. All right, he offered me.
What, the driver or a ride share?
It was a ride share.
Oh, okay. Wow.
He offered me some bars and something else. And he was so nice with it, too. I mean, he was so polite, having a full-blown conversation, talking about something if I ever need anything. And I'm like, I'm just going along with it because, you know, you can't let these people think that you even worried or fear them. Because he probably geeked up himself. And whatever it's going to take to keep him going with this conversation, I'm going to go right along with it. I'm going to go.
That is crazy.
I've heard of drivers smoking weed with their passengers. And when I say I've heard of it, this is not like having a third, hearing it from a third, fourth party. This is like coming from the horse's mouth. You know, you hear them brag about, yeah, man, I picked up this car. Man, he was super cool, man. He let me hit the J. And I was like, you think that's smart?
Wow.
You think that's smart? You know why it's not smart, especially when it comes to women? Because what happened is they'll get in these cars with these drivers. Let's say the drivers are male. And I'm not sure who brought the alcohol, but there's alcohol involved. Your driver and yourself drinking, or your driver and yourself is smoking marijuana. Now, what if your driver gets too comfortable with you and it starts to ask you for your phone number and all this other stuff? You feeling good, he's feeling good, you do that. Y'all exchange phone numbers, and then, probably kicked it the same day.
Right.
But when the smoke clears and things doesn't quite go right with you and this driver, now the situation becomes intense. Now it's all of a sudden, oh, he's harassing me. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to do something to me. God forbid that they have consensual sex, but then she says it's not consensual. Or maybe it wasn't consensual sex, and God forbid she actually did get raped because she's under the influence or was under the influence, But when I hear these people brag about these kind of stuff, I just shake my head because I just feel like some of these people, they're not trying to advance in life. Because first of all, I think that if you are a certain age, unless you had a life-changing situation or event, but if you're young enough and you're vibrant enough and you're thriving, you should be able to find a real job, okay? And if you need to make extra income on the side, then a ride share, driving for one of these companies, it's fine. But making it your full-time job and brag about all the foolishness that you and your so-called passengers do, you're bound to get caught up. You are bound. So it's very, very dangerous, and there's like this blurred line that can easily be crossed.
Also, I just want to add that I know of someone who actually did ride share for extra income because they were stay-at-home parents with their kids, their young infant children. So therefore, the spouse had to work, and then to supplement the income, they would work seasonally for the ride share, just so that they can, have something productive to do. Now, then it became lucrative for them too, because they can go to work at any time of the evening, night, around their spouse's schedule. So the convenience of that, I've noticed that is a trend in terms of someone needing to pay their rent or their car note one month. They'll go and just do this ride share to accommodate the shortcoming from their regular pay.
Yeah, but see, that person, again, had a life-changing event. That person had children, and so they got a spouse to help them work, to help them in the house, but to supplement the income. They went out and did what they have to do. But if you're like 25, 26, 28, 29, and you're a grown man or a grown woman, and it's just you, like, I don't understand, why you're not out here grinding and really trying to make something out of yourself instead of taking the easy way out and driving all day long.
There has to be a reason why. I just never researched the protocol in terms of employment screening. But I just think, like you said, it is dangerous for both the driver and the customer. I mean, because neither one of them know each other. They could be, a maniac inside the back seat or the front seat. Take your pick.
I've heard it all, honey. And when I say I've heard it all, I've heard it from people who actually did, was a driver, And then, it's a way, and it's so sickening, too. And then there was, like, a couple of news articles about it not too long ago. Of course, these ride shares, people are starting to hook up there, you know what I mean? They'll hook up, like, so let's say we sharing a ride. You know how if you want to share the ride or whatnot, right? So they pick me up first, and then they go and pick you up, and then I don't know what happens in between that time. Again, I'm not sure if drugs or alcohol always plays a part, but then it becomes a hookup session, and one of them led to one young lady being killed. And I was like, oh, wow, But there's, especially in Atlanta, there's tons and tons of articles about drivers hooking up with their I would say customers. Hooking up with their customers, and it don't quite work out, girl, and it's always coming a legal issue.
Oh, my gosh, that sounds like human trafficking. Incidents where, in terms of the child lock being on, is where I'm going, that it is in part to the driver is connected with taking a certain type of person, female, that I've heard about, to a certain location to be human trafficked. That's mainly what I'm saying. And I'm not saying overall that, oh, my God, they hooking up because it's human trafficking. No, I just heard about the child lock being set so that the driver has intending purposes on taking you to a location to meet up with someone,
Yeah. What about that one time where a rideshare driver took off with a person's child in the car?
Whoa.
I got to ask my sister about that to follow up on that, see whatever happened, because you just reminded me of that. They were trying to figure out if it was planned or, like, it was a lady, she was a driver, and a man got out the car, he turns around to get his daughter out the car, and the lady takes off with the baby in the car.
Whoa. That is so ridiculous. That is so crazy. Right.
So now I got to find that article because I really want to follow up on that, but you just reminded me.
Yeah. But do you think that rideshare is has a good effect on the environment? What type of effect?
Well, yeah, because it provides employment, flexible schedule for people who are in need of that. It also provides people in the community to get around who don't have a vehicle or they have one vehicle and they have to share, so that relieves some of that pressure because it can be fairly affordable, especially if you're only going down the road or something like that, But it can become.
Because you know what? In terms of, you just mentioned convenience for someone who doesn't have a transportation, or possibly driver license has been revoked, to where they can't drive anymore. So it's much feasible to get into a ride share to get to where they have to go.
Mhm.
I think it's.
I found the article real quick. I couldn't help it. So, yeah, here you go. A rideshare driver who was charged with kidnapping a Pennsylvania toddler after she claimed the child's family sold the girl for $10,000 has been romantically linked to the child's father.
Oh.
Now I'm trying to find out, because now they're romantically linked. Did the father really sell the baby to the driver, or did she kidnap the baby because she wanted the baby?
Yeah, I really thought that human trafficking being involved with rideshare. So that is so crazy that the father and the mother were in on that. Is that what you're reading?
I don't know. Well, that's what the article insinuating, but I'm trying to, I'm gonna have to read on this later, and then we'll follow up, let our followers know more about it, because I don't want to read it while we're recording because it's a long article. But I did want to find out, was she telling the truth, or did she just simply kidnap the kid because her and the guy weren't together anymore? Could have been one of those jealous, or I'm going to show him kind of situation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, you're right. Amazing. It does affect our environment in the positive. Even in terms of air pollution, it reduces the air pollution in terms of the gas emissions, per year, carbon dioxide emissions from cars. So it should be reduced.
Yeah, because it does provide carpooling, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty neat.
So for the economy, it has its pros and it has its cons. But I think like everything else in the world, what's meant for good, some way, somehow, people are going to find a way to exploit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I know a lot of people, I'm sure you do too. You just mentioned someone that you know that is affiliated with rideshare companies. It seems like it's easy to get employed at Uber and Lyft, to my knowledge. It seems as if they get referrals if you refer someone to work for the company.
Mhm.
There must be some type of incentive behind it. But do you think you can request a certain driver, like a female driver or a friend, to come?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, would you prefer to ride in a vehicle with a female driver?
I mean, I just think everyone is dangerous. But in terms of, I probably can beat her, versus someone that is huge, you just don't know in terms of who is behind the wheel.
Mhm.
But, I wonder if you can actually request specific Uber drivers to come.
Let's see. Google, what do you say? Can I request a specific blank driver? The blank app cannot match you with a specific driver. It's the Uber app. Can I request a specific Lyft driver? You cannot request a specific Lyft driver using the Lyft app. In order to discourage discrimination and give drivers equal opportunities to get fares, Lyft matches drivers and riders based on several specific factors.
Right. Okay.
Well, there we go.
That makes sense. That is discriminatory.
Yeah, now that they say it, right? Because before I was, Well, like you said, everybody, if you get on the call with a stranger, you'll know who you get in the call with.
But which one is safer, Uber or Lyft? Like,